Hi, my name is Ben. In class, we briefly discussed dwarf planets, as well as Pluto's declassification as a planet. My presentation is about the way in which Pluto and the other dwarf planets lost their planetary status, and whether or not that decision was a good one. The article I am basing my presentation on is "The Definition of Planet is Still a Sore Point, Especially Among Pluto Fans" by Lisa Grossman. Since August 2006, the definition of a planet has consisted of three parts. It must orbit the sun, it must have enough mass to be forced into an approximately spherical shape, and it must have cleared away neighboring bodies of similar size. If an object ascribes to the first and second parts of this definition, but not the third, it is considered to be a dwarf planet. Thus, it was at this point that the fan favorite Pluto was, to the disappointment of many, revoked of its right to be called a planet. This new definition was the result of a vote of the International Astronomical Union, or IAU. Many scientists were pleased with the outcome, believing that it was a victory for science, a wonderfully objective definition motivated by the facts rather than sentiment and tradition. Some believed that Pluto was being promoted by acting as the face of a new class of celestial bodies. However, not all scientists agree. Jim Bell, a planetary scientist at Arizona State University, points out that the ability to clear debris does not solely depend on the body itself. Through this lens, one may consider the definition to be quite arbitrary. Other scientists believe that Pluto is too interesting to not be classified as a planet. It has an atmosphere, mountains made of water ice, fields of frozen nitrogen, dunes, and volcanoes. Planetary scientist Philip Metzger outright calls the definition dumb. To perhaps improve our understanding of this controversy, let's consider the history of other celestial bodies losing their classification as planets. Up until the 1960s, many asteroids were considered to be minor planets. The change occurred due to the irregular shape of smaller asteroids viewed by spacecraft, rather than their ability to clear their orbits. Moons were considered planets until the 1920s, when astrology almanacs only focused on the main, larger planets for horoscope readings. Before ending this debate, let's allow for some closing arguments. Several supporters of IAU's definition would argue that it keeps the number of planets manageable. Think of how many more names there might be to keep track of if we expanded the definition. Mike Brown of Caltech argues that the 8 planets in our solar system are the only 8 of significant size. On the other hand, according to Metzger, it's scientifically useful to have an umbrella word for celestial bodies where interesting geophysics occur. There is an additional argument that only allowing for 8 planets overplays the significance of their role in the solar system. The planets aren't static, meaning they don't stay in their orbits forever, and they are vastly outnumbered by smaller bodies. Metzger also argues that the introduction of smaller bodies as planets would open the gate for people to be more knowledgeable about the solar system. So what do you think? Is the IAU's definition the correct method of classifying planets, or are the scientists who disagree with it correct? The great thing about a definition is that it may always be changed, so maybe this one will be someday as well. Thank you.